Good evening, parents and guardians. My name is Wonola Yomi Odede, the Experiential Learning Lead at the Halton District School Board. I am very happy to host the 2023 Skilled Trades and Technologies Virtual Parents Guardians Information Evening today, Wednesday, May the 31st of 2023. We have brought together tonight a powerful team consisting of a keynote speaker, Ms. Shannon Tymosko, who I will introduce to you in a moment. Jesse Fran from Skills Ontario, Wade Richardson, the HDSB Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Recruiter, Ms. Donna Nori, the HDSB Specialist High Skills Major Lead, Sherry Wise, Miss Sherry Wise, the HDSB Dual Credit Teacher. And last but not the least, Miss Angela Sove, the Instructional and Program Lead for Special Education at the Halton District School Board. But before we begin, I'm going to start by honoring the land and the territory on which this program is taking place tonight. Halton, as we know it today, is rich in history and modern traditions of many First Nations and the Métis, from the Anishinaabe to the Atawandron, the Odinosoni, and the Métis. These lands surrounding the Great Lakes are steeped in Indigenous history. As we gather today on these treaty lands, we have the responsibility to honor and respect the four directions: land, waters, plants, animals, ancestors that walked before us, and all the wonderful elements of creation that exist. We would like to acknowledge and thank the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation for sharing their traditional territory with us. And the connection that I would like to make to the land acknowledgement tonight is that it is important that we acknowledge that many Indigenous people lived on these lands in more recent history. But we acknowledge that this land is Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation traditional and treaty territory. And out of respect for the community, wishes to recognize history and relationship to the land, please refer to the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation without the word new. The other connection that I would like to make to the land acknowledgement this evening is that as parents, guardians, and teachers, community members, for us to take the time out of our busy schedule to attend this program this evening means that we are interested in making good ancestors for our children and of our children, because we need people who are going to take over and continue to take care of the land and the territory by becoming very good people and honorable people, by being capable of taking care of themselves in any profession that they are engaged in. So tonight's agenda is actually very highly packed. So we have the following people. I have already introduced myself to you. Ms. Shannon Tymosko is here to talk about her life's journey in the skilled trade. Jesse Fram is from Skills Ontario. He's going to share his personal experience with us and also all the opportunities that are available through the Skilled Ontarios to build capacity in our children. Wade Richardson is going to share his life journey with us. So will Donna Nori and also Sherry Wise. So without further ado, I'm going to share with us also the information link, the bit.ly link that we're going to use to ask for information. So this link is live right now. So please feel free to go to bit.ly/skilled-trades tech evening parents evening queue. I repeat, bit.ly/skilled-trades tech evening parents evening queue to send us all your questions. At the end of all the presentations, we're going to take all your questions so that you can get more information, and we're here to support you. So the next um, thing on our agenda is to introduce to you our keynote speaker for this evening. Shannon Tymosko is a child and youth worker. She's a third-year electrical apprentice and a member of the IBWE local, that is the International Brothers of Electrical Workers in Hamilton. Shannon is a skills trade ambassador. She's also a motivational speaker. Please, everybody, welcome Shannon Tymosko to the program this evening. Thank you, Shannon. We're very happy and grateful to have you with us during this presentation and sharing a bit of yourself with our parents and guardians this evening. So well, you can.
Thank you for that kind introduction, and thank you for hosting this beautiful event. It's so important that we talk about this, I think, very important career path. And so without further ado, I am just going to take over the screen and share my presentation and start my little keynote. Okay, thank you again. And without further ado, as you said, my name is Shannon Tymosko, and thank you for having me today at Halton Skilled Trades and Technologies Parent Guardian Information Session. I'm excited to be here to shed some light on the apprenticeship pathway and how this amazing alternative career path is a great way to earn your education while getting paid. In my journey, I have experienced both the college and apprenticeship pathway, and this is what makes me passionate about education and providing youth with all their options to help empower them to make the best decision for their future. My hope is by providing parents and guardians like yourself with more information about the apprenticeship pathway, it helps support the youth of tomorrow on whatever journey is the right fit for them. So a little bit more about me. I originally went to college and completed a child and youth work diploma. And upon completion, I worked at a homeless shelter for youth. Here, I found compassion, empathy, hope, and a better understanding of people and the challenges life can bring. Sadly, this job was not one that I could thrive on in the GTA, and I needed to maintain my college job. This turned into a 10-year career as I worked my way up through different positions. It wasn't until the age of 29 that I discovered I really liked working with my hands. My best friend Matthew purchased a house, and together we did several home renovations, piquing my interest into the trades. This started my journey to where I am now, a third-year electrical apprentice. It is my experiences that inspire me to be here today with you, talking about the benefits of apprenticeship and how it has changed my life. Your children are in high school, which means there's a lot of options. They will have the chance to explore different topics, electives, and possibly even a co-op experience, all to help encourage them to find their passions and help prepare them for their future. I think one of the most important things I can explain is, what is an apprenticeship? An apprenticeship is an equivalent to a university degree or college diploma program. However, it puts value on both the hands-on learning along with the school-based learning. So instead of going to college or university where you sit in a classroom for years earning credits for each class you complete towards a certificate, an apprenticeship is the process in which you obtain an education and a certificate through real hands-on work in the field, along with shorter schooling periods. Completing an apprenticeship means that 90% of your learning will be spent out in the field in the industry, with a professional learning the trade. The other 10% of the time is spent in a classroom, where the science and safety can be learned. Now remember, an apprenticeship is not strictly for construction. There are several other service jobs that use a similar method, such as hairstylist, chef, arborist, or even child and youth worker. It wasn't until my early 30s that I realized I could have obtained the same education, however, through an apprenticeship, where I would have been paid to learn. Paid to learn. Now, what does this really mean? I want to break this down a little bit further and provide you with some real life numbers. To complete and obtain my 3-year college diploma, I needed to pay out of pocket over $13,000, and that was over 10 years ago. Now, this does not include any housing or food costs, simply tuition and books. And with this diploma, I was able to find entry-level jobs that paid just a little bit more than minimum wage. Now, to compare that to the apprenticeship process, I have now entered my third year of learning as an electrical apprentice. And during my first year of learning, I earned roughly $34,000. For my second, I received a $4 an hour raise and earned roughly $42,000 for the year. Going into my third year of apprenticeship, I can expect to receive with full-time work $50,000. Over $120,000 for 3 years of learning. And by the time I finish my apprenticeship, I can expect to make around $90,000 a year or more. I have also realized that although my college diploma gave me an education to do a job, it did not provide me with a barrier to entry for employment. What I mean by this is when I was applying to jobs, I was applying against experience, not qualifications. Many other people with educations were also qualified for these positions. And so I was applying against, for example, public service workers, social service workers, teacher assistants, educational assistants, psychology majors, psychiatry majors, and the list really does go on because there was no barrier to entry for these positions. Now, there are some jobs that require certifications, like doctors, teachers, or even electricians. However, many jobs do not have a barrier to entry for employment. So what this does is increases the competition for those jobs and decreases the pay. Where there is more supply than there is demand, it affects the salary. Now, to compare that to the apprenticeship process, where you complete your apprenticeship and obtain a certificate of qualification, you create a barrier of entry for employment. This is why electricians and plumbers can charge the high fees that they do. For example, that best friend Matt, well, he recently bought a hot tub. The hot tub costs roughly $3,500, whereas the electrical work costs around $1,800 for less than a half day's work. By having this valuable piece of paper, you are creating a job for life. Now, what's confusing is you might wonder who's going to be the teacher or who's going to teach your children while they're out at work. Now, this person is called a journey person. A journey person is someone who is qualified and authorized to work in their trade. They have completed their apprenticeship, wrote the certificate of qualification, and can now legally charge money for their trade. It is their responsibility during their apprenticeship or your child's apprenticeship to teach them the trade, keep them safe, and assign them jobs. And instead of being called a student, well, you get to be called an apprentice. And it is the apprentice's job to show up, ask questions, and learn as much as you can about the trade, just like you would do if you were in school. So you might wonder, what do my days look like as an apprentice? Now, I could work alongside a team, or maybe just alongside my journey person learning something new. Or depending on my skills and abilities, I could work alone. You could have a physically demanding job like a drywaller or roofer, or maybe your job demands less like a crane or machine operator. Sometimes construction can take you far, letting you travel and explore and seeing beautiful places, or maybe your child aspires to be their own business owner, staying close to home. It can be really difficult to describe in just a few words what a day looks like because every day, every job, and every trade is different. But what is clear is the endless opportunities and transferable skills that come along with having a skilled trade. Getting paid to learn is just one of the many benefits of choosing the apprenticeship process and the skilled trades. Short schooling periods is another great benefit for those who do not enjoy or thrive in class learning and excel with those hands-on or visual learning experiences. Because the apprenticeship process places value on both in-field learning, those who do not enjoy in-school learning can excel in these environments. Additionally, due to the growing demand of these jobs, the government is giving out grant money to those pursuing a job in the skilled trades. This is free money to help your child be successful in their future. The apprenticeship process is filled with added financial benefits to help your children get their education without going into debt to do it. Now, these are just a couple of the amazing advantages to help your children on their career path. However, not my favorite part of my job. What I enjoy most is how my job contributes to my mental and physical health, along with the independence I have built, the confidence I have grown, and the sense of pride I feel when I complete a project. Let's first talk about mental and physical health, as so many of us have had these different challenges in our lives. It wasn't until many years later in my life that I discovered that there are activities you can do for both that help improve and contribute to your healthier overall state of mind and wellness. Something like meditation can be beneficial to your mental health, where physical activity contributes to both your mental and physical health. Over the years, I've had my own struggles, and I remember when I first started talking to my doctor, one of his first questions to me was, "Do you exercise?" At this time, it was 2017, and I worked a 40-hour office job, and the answer was no. My daily activities included walking to the bathroom, lunchroom, and my car. And being in construction or any job that requires physical activity as part of your daily routine is a hidden benefit that often is not talked about and you can't find in your paycheck. It is because of my job that I get the exercise needed to help maintain a happy and healthy mental and physical health without having to go to the gym. Another exciting aspect of construction is the independence you build from all the transferable skills you learn. No matter what trade you discover, you build basic skills that can be used in many areas of your life. For example, I'm in electrical. However, over the last few years, I've taken on my own car maintenance, including oil changes and brakes. Because I have the basic tools and abilities, I have built the confidence to try new things, saving me both time and money. On top of the independence I have built, my job contributes to my overall confidence. Over my lifetime, people have said things to me like, "Shannon, I just wish you had a little bit more confidence." Or, "If only you just had a little bit more self esteem." These two statements have always left me feeling defeated because I've been left wondering, where can I find confidence? It wasn't until much later in my life that I learned confidence is built by competence. It is by doing the same thing over and over again until you become successful. For example, when we're all little, we're in that constant state of learning and growing. When we first learned to walk, how many times did we fail before we were successful? Maybe for some it happened right away, whereas with others, maybe it took months. But in that moment, when we were successful, the room stopped. We all clapped and we built a little bit of confidence. It is through our failures and standing back up that we build confidence, but we must, first of all, start by trying. And it is because of my job that I have built confidence daily, and it provides me the opportunity to learn and grow each day. This leaves me with a huge feeling of pride in myself and the best part of my job. Nothing feels better than knowing I built that. Construction workers for years to come drive around pointing out to their passengers the contributions they've made to their community. Now that I've discussed some of the amazing things I love about my job, I want to talk about why it's a place for everyone, man or woman. Many people have misperceptions about the skilled trades that keeps them from even considering it as an option. And I don't want anyone leaving this event thinking I can't or my child can't. I like to compare two careers that most of us are aware of: an electrician and a nurse. Electrician because it is predominantly still male environment, and as we know, nurses are still predominantly female. And I like to compare these two jobs because I think at some point in our lives, most of us can see ourselves in a caregiver or nurse kind of role. Whether that is being a mother or father yourself one day, or maybe you're like me and your parents are starting to age and may need your assistance too. Now, let's break down some misperceptions that keep people from considering a career in the skilled trades. Things like dirty. Dirty, it definitely can be a dirty job. Dust, oil, and dirt can be a regular day. However, nurses are bathing people and changing diapers. Noisy. Well, another thing, right? As construction workers, to walk on a construction site, I'm required to wear personal protective equipment, including earplugs, keeping my ears safe from long term damage. A nurse regularly deals with valve patients, beeping monitors that could have long term effects. The difference is nurses cannot drown out their patients. And not strong enough. This is something I had to get over myself, and it helps to think about nurses everywhere, who are mostly women, and lifting patients, showing strength to get the job done. And lastly, unsafe. As a construction worker, I have the right to refuse unsafe work, the legal right, and my boss or employer must take action to make it safer. Again, I think most of us at some point in our lives can see themselves in that caregiver position. And if we can do that role, then you too can be a tradesperson. Now, high school is that time for your children to really start discovering who they are as individuals and what they're passionate about. I know I'm here to talk to you about the skilled trades, but the one thing I hope you all leave with this is the importance of trying new things. You all know the truth is you spend way more time at work than you do at home. And finding something you love is the best thing your children can do for their future. Going to work doesn't feel like work when you enjoy your job. Now, in high school, there are some opportunities that you're going to hear about today, like co ops and OEAP, that allow your children to try different jobs, to explore passions they may have hidden, while obtaining credits towards their diploma. This happens in grade 11 and 12, so I do encourage you ask your kids' guidance counselors about these amazing programs. I also encourage all parents and guardians to research the over 140 apprenticeship available here in Ontario and discuss them with your children. Remember, not all of them are construction industry. And at the end of the day, there are several paths your children could take to be successful. And what matters is finding the best fit for your child. Many of us are so familiar with college and university, whereas the apprenticeship pathway often remains so unclear for so many. Remember, an apprenticeship is an equivalent to a college or a degree program, and is a great way for your children or your child to obtain an education while getting paid to learn. And I just want to thank you very much for listening to my little keynote, and I'm going to pass it now back to you and listen to the rest of these amazing, great keynote or speakers today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shannon. That was really nice. We really appreciate you taking the time out to share your life's journey with us and also to talk to us about all the amazing opportunities that are available in the skilled trades and especially in your trade, which is usually male dominated, but you're breaking all the glass ceilings and getting rid of all the barriers. Thank you very much. Our next presenter tonight is Mr. Jesse Fram. Jesse Fram is from Skills Ontario. He's a program facilitator with the Skills Ontario. Jesse is from the Windsor-Essex region, where he has lived his whole life. He went to the University of Windsor for drama in education and community, and then received his Bachelor of Education in primary junior. So Jesse is an Ontario certified teacher as well. He has spent the past 7 years working in the industrial sector at an automotive plant, and now he works for Skills Ontario, helping to dispel some of the myths and misconceptions about the skilled trades and provide students with the opportunity to find their own success. Jesse is going to talk about the role of Skills Ontario in enhancing the experiential learning opportunities in the skilled trade. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me to welcome Mr. Jesse Fram.
Thank you very much for that introduction. Excuse me, a glowing introduction. So thank you very much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to be here and speak alongside so many other wonderful people about the wonderful opportunities that are available to your children out there. When I was growing up, there were a lot of misconceptions, a lot of negative thoughts that kind of came along with the skilled trades, with tech classes, with anything to do with hands-on learning, really. People thought that if you were learning by doing things hands-on, it's because you weren't smart enough to learn it out of a book. But what we know now is that it's really because many of us learn a different way. I was one of those kids myself. I did go through university for 5 years to become a teacher, but I specifically went through a very hands-on program. I went through drama and education and community because I wouldn't be spending 4 years learning about being a teacher through being a book. In my second and third years of universities, we already started our placements. That doesn't mean that the rest of the university program was a cakewalk for me. I still had to go through the big psychology classes and English classes like everyone else. And so I went through 5 years of this, of university, being very difficult, being very much a struggle on my mental health, as well as my financial situation. I was someone who was a late baby. If you've got a child whose birthday is after June, they will likely be like me and be graduating at 17 years old from high school. So at 17, we think we know everything. I thought for sure I wanted to be a teacher, and I was willing to spend 5 years of my life, training to be one. But I didn't have access to any money, right? My parents didn't have the affordable funds to pay for my university degree. They could support me by letting me live at home. And I'm fortunate enough to live near a university, so I could go to a good school nearby. But they didn't have the money to pay for my school. And OSAP, when I applied, said your parents make too much money. They should be able to pay for your school. So I was in the situation of having to go to a bank to ask to get into debt to go for this schooling. So after 5 years, I was about $60,000 in debt. And when I graduated in 2014, there were no jobs. So this degree that I was promised would lead to a successful career and a good paying job didn't lead to that. And I knew many people that didn't even finish the degrees, right? They found out that it wasn't for them and dropped out with years of debt and nothing to show for it. So what I did was I ended up going into a job that would pay me the most amount of money with what I had. And what I found was a factory that paid very well and also had very good benefits. I found the support that I was looking for myself and my family uh, in a place that I had never expected before. And I spent 7 years wishing that someone had told younger me, it's okay to take your time learning and figuring out what the right job is for you, what the right career is. You don't have to go out and put yourself $60,000 in debt, to find out that that's not the right career for you. You can spend a few years earning money. So that then when you do know what you want to do, you have the finances to pursue that, whether that's going to university or going to a college or starting a family and buying a house. Being able to financially support yourself is the big driving force behind any of these education pathways, right? So what I do now is I work for a company called Skills Ontario that does exactly what I wished that I had when I was younger. My job is to go into the classrooms and promote the skilled trades and talk about the earnings that kids can make and about the fact that there are different ways to get into these jobs and that they're all valid, whether that's going through an apprenticeship or going on to a workplace training. Many jobs don't offer apprenticeships within the skilled trades as well. So if there isn't one that is optional to or available to you or your child, then by all means, those are great pathways to go. But getting on a job and working is also a valuable way of learning. Some students graduate from college or high school realizing I didn't take the prerequisites that I needed to do what I want to pursue. I wish I had taken wood shop in high school. So I'm not really ready to get a carpentry apprenticeship. And that's where college comes in. So most of my job is doing presentations like this, dispelling the rumors, talking to students and parents about the ways that students can be successful in the skilled trades and the opportunities that you're about to hear about as well. I talk about SHISM and OYAP and dual credit courses, but I'm going to save that for the experts in a little bit. My company doesn't just do that. No, actually, before I get there, let me talk about the slide that's on the screen right now before I get ahead of myself. So what I do is I'm promoting the skilled trades because I want everyone to be successful. I want everyone to find something that will make them happy in life and that will lead to success. And when I was younger, we thought, my dad always taught me a good education is the key to success. And I always thought that meant going to university, but we now know it means getting a good education in whatever you need to be educated in. There are many different types of education out there. So I'm here to promote to the parents that if you want your child to be successful, think about what those markers for success will be. Is that a good paying job? Is it a job that they enjoy? Is it benefits that support themselves? Is it being able to afford their own home and get out of yours one day? Because if that's the case, then encourage them to get out there and try these things out while they're young. Perhaps they're going to find a career where they can earn very good money doing something they love and it doesn't require going to school for 6 years plus and putting out tuition. I also promote the skilled trades a little bit selfishly. We are very much in need of the skilled trades people to have our world function the way that it does. And we in Canada are noticing a huge deficit. By 2025, we're expected to have a skilled labor shortage of 1.2 million workers. And we're already experiencing it now. As Shannon mentioned earlier, electricians and everyone who are certified to do these jobs can charge what they want to charge as they should because they are licensed and certified to do these jobs. They did the right way. But if there's only 2 of them in your town and they're booked up, you're going to have to wait, right? So that's where we're already experiencing this shortage. These jobs are going to be the most prevalent ones coming up within the next decade. It's looking like 40% of all new jobs created within the next decade will fall within the skilled trades and technology because the skilled trades aren't just the construction, industrial, motive, power, and service sectors. Those are also the technology that helps run our lives and run all of those sectors as well. What we're noticing is that the average age of apprenticeships registration, is age 27. So like I said, many of your students or your children, are going to graduate at age 17. That tells me that many of us spend 10 years maybe going to college or university, trying out different jobs, and then finally settling on one that would pay us good money and teach us valuable skills 10 years later. Whereas your child can start these things out in high school. We also noticed that 48% of the current workforce is close to retirement. Not only are we losing the workers, but we're more importantly losing the teachers, right? The journeymen and women who are going to be teaching the next generation of tradespeople. So now is the time for your child to start getting trained in these things. Next slide, please. So when I talk about success within the skilled trades, money is often one of the things that parents and children's brains go to, honestly. They all want to make good money. It's not the only marker. You definitely want to be doing a job that you love. For instance, my nephew is terrified of heights. So even though crane operators make good money, that is a career that he has absolutely shut off to himself. But here what we notice is the median income 2 years after certification for skilled trades workers. So these are people who graduated out of their apprenticeship, and 2 years later, this is the average income. When we look at the average income across the skilled trade in general, we're looking at a lot of the people who are close to retirement age. But when we look at this median income, just 2 years after certification, you're looking at the people who are younger in the trade and who are looking to work as much as possible. So this is where the earning potential is out there. When kids want to make good money, you can absolutely get paid to learn a lot of these things. You don't have to put out the thousands and thousands of dollars that we traditionally have been taught that we need to in order to obtain these sorts of certifications. As you heard Shannon say, you can get paid good money through an apprenticeship. Can we move on to the next slide? So Skills Ontario, like I said, we are a nonprofit. We go around and we promote the skilled trades in schools, like I'm doing right now, because they're very much in demand. We need them to be functioning the way that we do. And also, they're great opportunities for people to succeed in ways that we have never really thought of as being success before. So Skills Ontario just doesn't do these presentations. We also host many different events. We've got summer camps for kids going into grade 7, 8, and 9. So maybe some of you have children in grade 9 who are young enough and still want to try our summer camps. Or maybe you have kids that aren't even in high school yet. I know we're talking to high school parents, but maybe you have other children as well. Those are our summer camps. That would be great for them. We also host a Skills Ontario competition every year where we challenge high school and post-secondary students to show off their skills in over 75 different categories, ranging from hairstyling, aesthetics, culinary, baking, to powerline technician, millwrights, CNC machinists, electricians, you name it, we challenge it. And it's a great way for your children to show off their skills to colleges, potential employers. One of our marshals, so one of our volunteers was, she's a 23-year-old girl who had competed in the competition in previous years, and she was a certified electrician. And while she was marshaling for us, she was offered a job by Southwire to be a power line technician. They offered her $46 an hour in a company car, and she turned it down because she prefers to work indoors. And I respect her for that. At 23 years old, to have the certification and the ability to say, I not only get my pickings of good paying jobs out there, but I get to do exactly which ones make me happy. And so the Skills Ontario competition is a great place for your children to show off, see what opportunities are out there. And of the 24 public colleges in Ontario, 22 of them have booths. So if you're ever just looking at what colleges are out there, I highly recommend you come check out our competition to see what other opportunities are out there for your child. If you're interested in any of the programs that we offer, check out skillsontario.com, and you can follow us on any of the major platforms to see videos from lots of different skilled tradespeople explaining exactly what their day in the life of their job is like, hopefully dispelling some of those rumors as well. So that way, maybe we don't think plumbers' lives are so dirty, or that, a mechanic's job is, greasy and hard on the body all the time, right? So those are great ways for you to follow us and find out what's going on. We also have an app on the next slide that is perfectly free. I'm not here to sell anything. It's an opportunity for your children to stay in touch with Skills Ontario, see what events we're hosting near you and in the area at the time. And there's also a quiz on there. Maybe you or your child already think they have a good idea of what they want to do, but by taking our quiz, you might find many different career paths that they had never considered. But based on their interests it might be right for them. We've got a short video on exactly how the app works. And again, it's free. I'm not here to promote anything sales-wise. It's just a chance for you to find out more about your kid and maybe what's right for them.
If you're looking to gain skills you can be proud of, design your lifestyle, and build your future, Skills Ontario is here to help you find the career that's right for you. Choosing a career path can be daunting. Take our quiz and see what career might be the right fit for you. We'll tell you more about it, what it involves, what it pays, where you might work, and if it's right for you. And if you're interested, we'll give you the resources to further explore this pathway. We also host all sorts of networking and experiential learning events, and you can check them out anytime in our in-app calendar. We'll make sure you'll find something you love and how to do it right. Download the app and start the trade up.
So if you're interested in
If
following
you're looking to gain
Ontario,
skills you can be proud of,
Skills Ontario, and get involved, feel free to check us out on our website or download the app at any time. And thank you again for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to you about Skills Ontario and the skilled trades today.
Thank you very much, JC. That was very enlightening, wasn't it? Thank you so much for sharing a bit of yourself with us and also the various opportunities that are available in the skilled trade. The next presenter that I'm going to introduce is our OYAP recruiter, Mr. Wade Richardson. He's going to share with you some of his life's journey as well, and also the various opportunities that are available at the Halton District School Board for our students. Please welcome Mr. Wade Richardson.
Thank you, Manola. So I'm Wade Richardson. A little bit about my background. So in high school, I worked at a truck and coach facility that repaired tractors and transport trucks and trailers and some other equipment. So I worked there during high school. I would, helped out a little bit, clean the floor, just kind of like more like a general laborer. So during high school, I did learn a lot there while I worked part-time. So once I graduated high school, it just transitioned into a full-time job. They offered me a job and I took it. I registered as an apprentice and I was credited for my time that I worked during high school towards my apprenticeship. So I worked through my apprenticeship and I completed my apprenticeship at that facility, and then wrote my license and became a certified journey person at the age of 23. So by the time I was 23, I was actually making the top of the pay scale, doing very well. And then I worked quite a few years at that repair facility in repairing transport trucks, trailers, that sort of thing. Then eventually I moved up to be the lead hand. So I helped process billing, scheduling work, working with customers. And then I had the opportunity to go to Teachers College. I went to Teachers College, and then I started teaching transportation at a school in the HDSB. And transportation is, kind of like similar to auto shop, where you'd learn how to repair cars, small engines, some heavy equipment, that sort of thing. So I taught there for about 15 years, and then I had the opportunity to move to the board office and become the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program recruiter. So that is my background. And the reason I wanted to talk about that is because we've heard other pathways where sometimes people search for what career is right for them. And that is one of the things we do in high school is, we work towards students making choices and informed choices. And one of the things about informed choices is, what are the skilled trades? So a lot of times that is it. People really don't understand because the skilled trades is a large variety. So there's 144 different skilled trades, whether it's in the motive power sector, manufacturing, which manufacturing could be CNC programmers, precision machinists, welders, construction, or service, which service is baking, pastries, hairstylists. So there's lots of different things. But what we have to remember is those people are the people that build, maintain, our houses, our schools, our hospitals, roads, farms. They fix the cars we drive every day. They really keep everything moving. And sometimes those are things that we forget, that without skilled people to work and do these tasks and these jobs, we really wouldn't, the society would come to a halt. So really the skilled trades is really an activity. A lot of it is activity based, where it requires, hand-eye coordination and hands-on work. But really, a lot of it is very technical, and it requires a lot of knowledge. And as one of our speakers said earlier, as Shannon said, it's really equivalent to a college or a university degree, because the typical apprenticeship takes up to 5 years. So, and during that apprenticeship, any of the 144 we call apprenticeable skilled trades, it is a combination of on-the-job learning and technical learning in a classroom, typically at a local college. But we know about all the skilled trades that are prominent, electrician, plumber, mechanic, welder. But there's thousands of skilled trades that are not necessarily what we call apprenticeable, where they learn on the job, and then they may learn additional through specialty courses. So the skilled trades is really, it is a really complicated subject, and a lot of people is probably the most misunderstood area of employment. We can go to the next slide.
How rewarding is it to see a house, a car, a truck, a bridge, a person with a really good haircut and say, I did that? That is the life of a skilled tradesperson. The skilled trades is a rewarding career path, both financially and emotionally. When it comes to opportunity, to earning potential, to having a chance to start your own business, the skilled trades come out on top. As we look forward to economic growth in our province, and with major natural resource and build projects ahead, Ontario is expecting a significant skilled trade labor shortage. This means there are more opportunities for skilled workers than ever. The skilled trades represent thousands of high-paid, long-term, permanent jobs for Ontarians. There are plenty of employment opportunities close to home for those who wish to build a meaningful career, settle down, and raise a family. With 144 apprenticeable skilled trades in Ontario, tradespeople build, repair, and replace the items we use every day. Kicking off your career, you are given the opportunity to work as an apprentice and learn on the job. From building a strong foundation of math, reading, and critical thinking skills, to developing the ability to think and react on your feet, the skilled trades is nothing less than a meaningful career. You have the ability to become a master of your field, no different than a master of a specific academic subject. Working in the trades is exciting, profitable, consistent, safe, and important to our society. So what are you waiting for? It's time to join the skilled trades. Opportunity to work as an apprentice. How rewarding is it to see?
So why the skilled trades? There's lots of reasons why we talk about the skilled trades, because there are lots of opportunities. There is a large shortage. Currently in the construction industry now, there is approximately 200,000 jobs short. So they could hire 200,000 people in the construction industry today. So there are lots of opportunities out there for students who are graduating. There's lots of opportunities out there for people who have recently graduated. And not only that, is in the skilled trades, we look at it a lot of times, or we talk about it the same as university or college degree. So once you complete a skilled trade and you have worked through your apprenticeship and you have completed your apprenticeship, challenged the certificate of qualifications and become a certified journey person, that's really when careers start. The majority of skilled trades people don't do they are not the person who's repairing or replacing or doing that skilled trade their entire life. Typically, a lot of skilled trade person will do that skilled trade for 10, 15, 20 years, but they're like me, they'll move on to something else, whether they're a lead hand or they're a business owner, or they're an inspector, because there's lots of different options once you have that knowledge and those skills. There's tons of opportunities. So really, when we talk about the skilled trades, once you go and become a skilled trades person, that's when all the opportunities open up, and that's why we do talk a lot about it being equal to university or college. And the reality is, like, skilled trades people are typically people who really thrive on being creative, because a lot of it is being creative. They fix and quite often design products and services used by society. For example, a really good bricklayer is quite artistic. You have different patterns of bricks, and they can lay them on the wall, and a really good bricklayer can make them pop, the same as an artist would draw a painting on a wall. So a lot of times we don't think about those things, that each skilled trade has its own particular unique qualities that are drawn out of people. And quite often we'll see that with, like I say, with bricklayers, or we'll see that with automotive service technicians, or they may have to troubleshoot, and they enjoy troubleshooting different types of repairs. And really, a lot of times those skilled trades, a lot of those qualities are brought out because they learn by doing. So as they're doing, and whether they're repairing a car, putting bricks on a wall, or cutting hair, they're actually, while they're doing, they're bringing those skills out. And one of the things we should talk about is apprenticeship is actually no cost to the apprentice or the employer. So as an apprentice works, they get paid to work, and then typically they will go to the technical side, and they will go to trade school, which is typically 10 weeks, and they actually get unemployment insurance to go. And quite often there's grants every time they finish. So a lot of times when you're a skilled trades person, you get paid as you go, and as your knowledge grows, you get paid, your pay increases. So by the end of your apprenticeship, you're typically at the top of your pay scale. So it is a great way for a student in high school or graduation to start off a career and really be, have their career, have their apprenticeship done by the time they're in their early 20s, 22, 23. It really depends when they start and the number of hours they work. Next slide. So in the HDSB, we really strive to have students understand that these are opportunities. So we try to talk to with career life planning and develop different individual pathway plans. So one of the things we try to do is, through our long history of supporting the skilled trades, is have students explore technological education classes. So in the Halton District School Board, for example, we have manufacturing. The name of the course is deceiving, because the reality is the students learn how to program CNC machines. There's welding. Typically, there's precision machining or transportation. They learn how to repair small engines, do minor repairs on automobiles, how an automobile works. Or hairstyling. A lot of times, hairstyling and aesthetics, they learn about hairstyling and aesthetics. But there are lots of different programs, and that's a great way for students to explore whether that is right or isn't right for them. And quite often, the students will say, hey, this is right for me. And then they may go out on a co-op or something like that and really find out whether it is right for them. And the board, the school board, we do have a lot of community partnerships that support students going out and learning experiential, whether it's field trips. That's quite often, we've done trips to Leuna, we do trips to different partners to give students those experiences to find out whether that is or isn't right for them. Because really, for us, it's all about the experience for the student and gaining those skills to go out and either, use those skills either as a hobby or as a career. Next slide. So students in the Halton School Board actually have about 125 different technological education courses they can take. Like some of them I've mentioned: manufacturing, hairstyling, there's transportation, there's computer engineering, construction. There's a lot of different variety. There's Comtech, where they learn to work behind the camera. So there are lots of different opportunities for students to kind of experience and get a taste of the trade and learn how to work safely. And that's a big part of those courses. The students will learn how to use hand tools and some of the power tools safely, so that if they do go out, if they're home or they're somewhere else, that they can learn and work safely outside of the school system. And they will learn a lot of the skills of how to do that in those particular areas. So a lot of times once the students have either grade 9, 10, or 11 taken those courses, a lot of times they will go into cooperative education course. So cooperative education course is where they will go out with an employer, and it could be 2 credits, it could be an all-day co-op. Where, let's say, for an example, you may have a student go out work with an electrician. So they'll basically shadow the electrician, help them for that period of time when they're in the co-op. And the beautiful thing about that is students can find out whether it is right for them or it isn't right for them. So quite often we've had students who say, I want to be an electrician. I'll just use that for an example, and then they're out, and then when they're on job sites with that electrician, they see what the plumber's doing. And they're like, that's what I want to do. That's actually much better suited to what I enjoy doing. So then they may kind of transition to work with that plumber during the co-op. And it happens all the time. And the reason we really promote students to test drive whether a skilled trade in a cooperative education course is to find out if it's right or not right for them. Because the students simply don't know what they don't know. We could talk about an electrician, or we could talk about a plumber or an automotive service technician, but unless they go out and they work with one, they have no idea what actually happens in those skilled trades. So what we really want to do is promote students to test drive them and find out if it is or it's not right for them. If a student goes out and says, I hate this, I don't want to be an electrician, or I don't want to be a plumber, or I don't want to be an automotive service technician, that's great. They've gone out in co-op, they've gotten credits, and they've learned all those things along the way, but they've also found out it's not right for them. So either way, it's a win for us, because our whole point is to have students make the right decisions in high school of what is or is not right for them. And a lot of times that can happen either through the technological education courses or the co-op courses. So we do have some specialist high skills major, which Donna will talk about a little bit later. We also have what we call concentrated OEF programs. So the concentrated programs is where the students will do typically 4 credits in class, and they do what they call the level 1. So that would be equivalent to the first round of trade school. So that would be their first technical learning out of college. And then they would do 4 credits and then go out on 2 credit co-op. And quite often those students are very successful because once they go out in a co-op, they know how to use tools safely. They know kind of general practices and procedures. So they kind of, like I like to say, hit the ground running. And they're quite often quite successful. And those are students who have maybe taken a co-op or a tech ed class years before and found out and said, yeah, I would like to do this and get a jump start on my career in high school. Because quite often those students will register as apprentices and start their apprenticeship in high school. And they may be a year or 2 years ahead once they graduate. So some of those students are ready to write their license. If they've graduated at 17, they're ready to write their license. They've completed all their apprenticeship by the time they're 20 or 21. So there are lots of opportunities if a student finds it's right for them. Because quite often students don't know what they don't know, because I'll have students come up and say, oh, I'm taking university courses. And I'll tell the students, that's fantastic. Why don't you want to test drive a skilled trade? You like doing this. And they'll say, because I'm in university courses. And what students need to realize, and parents also, the course they're taking isn't the driver of what program they're going to do after high school. It's really a different way to learn. So it doesn't matter whether they're taking college courses, university courses, or workplace courses. That just really is the type of learning that they're doing. Because if they're doing something that's in university courses, it's a little more complicated, which quite often happens. That is great. It just makes them better at being, because skilled tradespeople really have to be creative. They have to have great math skills, have good literacy skills, because you're communicating with customers, you're writing repair orders, you're doing all sorts of things. So I would say to parents, and students, if you're in university courses, that's fantastic. It doesn't mean you can't be a skilled tradesperson. It just means that you've taken those courses. Another way for students to experience the skilled trades is through, a lot of times the schools will have some tech ed related curriculars, whether it's first robotics or it's auto club or sometimes a construction club after school. That's a great way for them to kind of explore whether those things are right or are not right for them. One thing I should mention too, that earlier, Jesse was said that the average age of an apprentice in Ontario is 28. So, but what he didn't say is that the average age is 28, but the average of 40% of the age of the apprentices currently have a university or college degree. So that is why I talk about making right choices, make smart choices, because whether we we're trying to ensure that students make those choices so that 40% can lower, because those 40% have obviously gone to college, university, and found it's not right for them, or there was no employment in that in what they took. So that's something parents and students should be aware of, because that is a pretty high number, and unfortunately, those people have incurred debt and all those good things along the way. Okay, next slide. So if you are interested about finding a little bit more about what the courses are offered, we do have a podcast through the different BBTs and some of the skilled trades. If you're kind of interested to listen to those, so you can there are links on the Halton Pathways website. So if you go to haltonpathways.ca, there are links on the website. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wade Richardson, for sharing a bit of your story with us and also the various opportunities that are available to our students at the Halton District School Board. So parents, you can see that at the Halton District School Board, we have a lot of opportunities in the skilled trades and technologies as destination pathways. So skilled trades are viable destination pathways for your students. The next person that I'm going to introduce now is Miss Donna Norrie. Miss Donna Norrie is one of the two specialist high skills major leads at the Halton District School Board. She's going to share a bit of herself with you and also tell you all the exciting opportunities that are available in Chisholm, which is a part of the skilled trades and technology opportunities that are available in the Halton District School Board. So ladies and gentlemen, parents, guardians, please welcome Ms. Donna Norrie to the events tonight.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. So as Manola mentioned, I am Donna Norrie. I started as a science and math teacher here at the Halton District School Board, and then switched to co-op education, which I think is absolutely phenomenal, and every single kid in the province should be required to take co-op if I had my way, because as Wade and other people have mentioned, really being out there and trying things out and test driving them and getting a sense of whether or not you like them, because being on the job and actually doing it is a whole lot different than watching the job happen. So spent many years teaching co-op. I started 2 specialist high schools major programs, an environmental one and a justice, community safety, and emergency services program. And now, as Manola mentioned, I support all of our 66 specialist high schools major programs that we have in the board. Before we watch the video that we're just about to start, what I would like all parents to keep in mind is that specialist high skills majors take place in grade 11 and grade 12. Every single student in Halton District School Board, no matter whether they're taking what level of courses they're taking, as Wade mentioned, and whatever their interest is, we have courses for you. So specialist high skills major is for all students. And before I break down and talk about the nitty-gritty, we've got a quick video that we're going to show, and just to give you a quick overview of what specialist high skills majors involve.
Specialist High Skills Major, SHISM, is a ministry-approved program that lets you, a high school student, focus on a specific economic sector. The program customizes your education to suit your interests and talents, all while earning your OSSD. SHISM is for students pursuing any pathway, apprenticeship, college, community, university, and workplace, or a combination of pathways too. In the Halton District School Board, we have over 60 SHISM programs to choose from. In a SHISM, you take a bundle of grade 11 and 12 courses in your sector of interest. You will acquire 4 major credits and a series of supporting credits. These are all regular high school credits, bundled in a way to help you explore your passion. For example, if you're enrolled in the construction SHISM, you will take 4 major courses such as TCJ grade 11 and 12 construction, as well as the TDJ grade 11 and 12 tech design. Then, you take additional supporting credits such as English, math, science, business, as well as cooperative education. Co-op or cooperative education allows you to engage in an authentic workplace experience and test drive a career while still in high school. Co-op is available during the regular school day, in night school, or through summer internships to provide you flexibility. In addition to these credits, SHISM also offers reach-ahead opportunities, industry-recognized certifications, experiential learning, and sector-partnered experiences in math, coding, or ICE. Why SHISM, you ask? When you graduate with a SHISM, you will have obtained industry-specific knowledge, certifications, and training, which are recognized by industry and post-secondary institutions. Not only are these opportunities all free, they will also be a great addition to your resume, providing you with a leg up for post-secondary applications and future career opportunities. And what if the sector you chose is not the right fit? SHISM allows you to remain flexible with the option to shift between different pathways and programs. And since many of the skill sets are transferable, the experiences you will gain through SHISM will support you in your future endeavors, no matter what those endeavors might be. So, that being said, what are you waiting for? Explore your SHISM opportunities today by visiting haltonpathways.ca or see your guidance counselor to learn more.
Okay, so as the video sort of showcased, Specialist High Skills Major is all about students test driving things in grade 11, sort of in a clustered sort of what we call sectors. And we're going to talk about the sectors in a little minute. But so it's for students in grade 11 and grade 12. So grade 9 is all about students getting used to high school, figuring out, right, sort of the way high school works. In grade 10, the students take a careers course and they start to think about, what do I want to do when I'm all grown up? And they start picking those sort of focus courses and planning grade 11 and grade 12. So we will start as a Pathways team, starting to reach out to students in grade 10 to say, where do you want to go? What do you think you want to do? What area of work or what sector do you think you want to work in? And so when we talk sectors support students in all pathways. So when we talk pathways in academics, it's like, are you going straight to work? Are you going to do an apprenticeship? Are you going to college? Are you part of our community pathways program, or are you going to university? So for our students going apprenticeship, college, university, and workplace, you are welcome to enroll and participate in all aspects of Specialist High Skills Majors. And many of our schools that have community pathway programs, what we do is we partner you with our SHISM students so that both groups learn skills and experiences together. So if you have students in any of those areas, which really it's all students, you're welcome to participate in Specialist High Skills Major programs. Next slide, please. So you'll notice this list. There are 18 different sectors that are supported by the Ministry of Education, and the Ministry of Education picked these sectors based on where they anticipate employment in the future. So we're not setting students up for failure. There are going to be jobs in these areas in the future. Unfortunately, HDSB isn't able to offer, at this time anyway, all 18 sectors, but we do support the 15 different sectors that you see here on the slide in front of you. What we want students to do is to think about all the different careers that fit under those titles. So for example, hospitality and tourism is everything from a tour guide to a chef to a hotel manager, right? Like there's so many different careers that fit under each and all of these different titles. And so if a student says, I want to be something, or I think this is what I want to do, we try and find the correct sector for them that's in their school or in their region so that they can test drive it and say, yes, this is what I want. Or maybe we'll actually introduce them to something different that they hadn't thought about or weren't even aware of and didn't know it existed. And that happens more often than not. So for example, in the Justice, Community Safety, and Emergency Services program, I took a bunch of students on a trip to Conestoga College, and we learned about the career of respiratory therapy, which I had a student who, right, had no idea that career existed. She went off to university, and then later on said, you know what, yeah, I'm on the wrong path. And then she went through and decided that that was the route, right? Like she was really intrigued by that respiratory therapy and then switched gears partway through university and changed her mind. Every single one of these has a skilled trades connection to it. So, right, we can't have community safety without safe roads and safe planning and things like that, right? The environment doesn't function without, and we can't take care of it unless we have qualified people who are actually taking care of it. Right? So there are skilled tradespeople in each of these different sectors. And so it's really, really important that we let the kids pick the sector that they want to go into and then explore the opportunities that are out there. Next slide, please. So for each time a student is enrolled in a specialist high skills major, they have to take a bundle of credits. So what happens is no matter what academic pathway they're on, they're going to take 4 major credits. So they have a number of different options. If I'm talking a transportation student, they're going to take some transportation courses, but they also may be thinking that they want to go the engineering route and get into automotive engineering and design. So they're going to actually add maybe some physics, or they may want to add some manufacturing and pick that course, or they may say, I want to be an automotive technician and I'm going to fill those major credits with just straight automotive technician focused courses. And just like every high school student across the province, SHSM or not, they must do a grade 12 English, they must do their grade 11 math. We then have sort of extra, or what we call other sectors or credits that the students should take that are going to help them understand that sector better. So for example, an automotive person who might want to start their own business may want to take a marketing course or a business course related to accounting. A justice community safety student may want to take a psychology course so that they have a better understanding of human beings and personality traits or world history, things like that. Or it may be an environmental SHSM student really wants to have a chemistry background or an extra understanding there. So there is a little bit of choice in the other. One of the critical components of the specialist skills major is the mandatory 2 credits of co-op. These students can take co-op either as 2 credits during the day. It can be 2 credits at night school as part of a night school exercise, or it can be summer school. The best part of co-op is really watching students grow as they start out on a job in an area that they think they want to go in, and watch them thrive and grow and learn new skills and say, oh my gosh, I love this. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life, or at least for 10 years or so, or them going, oh, this is not what I thought it was. And I don't think I can do this for the rest of my life. And helping them, right, go through the, well, what is it about you this that you don't like, so that they can make better decisions about their choices after high school. So co-op is really, really, really good for that, because it is true work experience where the students spend at least 220 hours on the job doing and learning what it's like to be in a particular area. Next slide, please. So there are a number of other extras that are a part of the Specialist High Skills Major program. So one of them that actually is recognized by colleges and universities and employers is the certifications and training. So depending on the sector that students register for in a SHSM, so for example, the automotive technician, there's certain things like drive clean that or ozone or different things like that, that they would be recognized by that sector, that the students would be registered for and complete at no cost as part of the program. Every single student in any SHSM gets their first aid and CPR training. They get WMIS training, and then all of these different other ones. So for example, I mentioned some automotive ones. In construction, we take working at heights. In justice community safety, we do conflict resolution. In hospitality and tourism, we do safe food handling, and we do customer service. So there's a massive list of certifications. The students must complete either 7 to 8, depending on the program they're enrolled in. I've had students that have graduated with 17 different certifications on their resume. So a great way to boost up their resumes and make them more employable. The experiential learning component is for students to go out and try things out. Experience by doing. So it might be a experience where we bring a trainer in and teach the students how to do a particular skill. It could be going to a factory and doing an exploration and learning what the factory is. It could be going on a field trip and learning new skills through any sort of experience. We used to have students plan a big, huge event that was all focused on supporting the food drive, but the leadership and the planning and the problem solving and the budgeting and developing all those skills are really, really important. So it's just learning by doing. The reach ahead experiences, the students have to also do at least one of those. And that's sort of looking at what next after high school. So it's talking to people who have done an apprenticeship. It's talking to people who've gone to straight to work. It's going to colleges and learning about new programs, going to universities and learning about programs, and having the students, see them all and figure out what might work for them. One of the final components is the sector partnered experience. And so there's 3 different ways that the students can complete this portion of the training. And it's either ICE, which is innovation, creativity, and entrepreneurship. It can be something coding relating, with all of our world switching to using technology and relying on iPads and cell phones and things like that. Coding is becoming super important, and understanding how to code. And then math, because mathematical literacy is critical to many of the sectors. So for example, just recently we ran an ICE training for the province where students were given challenges and they had a particular problem that they had to solve. So they worked together as part of a team. We took them through a University of Toronto training process. It's an ICE process that's recognized across the province. And the students had to put together a pitch where they sent back to the community partner and said, this is how I think you're going to solve your problem. With the coding, we actually bring community partners in and they teach the kids why coding is important to that sector. And then we give the kids a chance to actually try and code. And then finally with math literacy, so for example, construction, right? If you can't build a bridge if you don't have some math literacy and understand angles and supports and tensile strengths and things like that. So that all of the math related to those sort of things, that's part of that sector partnered experience. Next slide, please. So what happens at the end of a student doing all of those components? Well, if a student registers in grade 10 and participates all through grade 11 and grade 12 and earns a red seal, it means they've completed all those different components that I mentioned. So students can then graduate with this diploma that says, I've graduated and I've gone above and beyond. I've focused my high school education in a particular sector, and I've met all of the needs of the specialist high skills major. And so really, what is the big deal and why would we bother? Well, so a number of reasons. The students have sort of focused and decided, yeah, I like this. Because I've had students who've come in and tried it and then said, no, I don't like that. And then they switched to a different program in a different sector and then gone a different route. So think of if they didn't do the apprenticeship route and they chose college or university, that's money that was wasted on a passion or on a career area that they weren't interested in or weren't going to enjoy. We also have heard from colleges and universities that our students who start in a SHISM and then come into a related program tend not to need to change their programs or their major when they get to college or university because they've already test drove it. They figured out that they like it. So this is what they want. So they see it through to the end. Some colleges and universities also offer automatic bursaries or guaranteed exemption of a first year course. Other universities and colleges don't do anything special, but they're saying that they see that the students tend to see things through. As a co-op teacher, I heard over and over and over again from our employers of our students who are working in engineering type placements saying, this kid's super, super smart, but he has no skills. He doesn't know how to do anything. So really our co-op experience of going out and working on the job and gaining those skills, it's super critical for that understanding how things work. So it's really, really important that the students learn and find that sort of career that they are suited for, but we also want them to have some experience to base that decision on. And then the final thing that they will get when they graduate is just the summary that says these are all the special things that you do when you finished a specialist high skills major. Sorry, next slide. So if you have any questions about either WADE's programs, all the OEAP programs, or all of the specialist high skills major programs that we have, please go to haltonpathways.ca. Thank you very much.
Ms. Donna Nori, we thank you for sharing yourself with us and also the various parts that are available in the Halton District School Board for the specialist high skills major. The next speaker that I will introduce is Ms. Sherry Wise. Ms. Sherry Wise is a dual credit teacher at the Halton District School Board. She's going to share a bit of her journey with us and also the opportunities that are available in the dual credit program. So ladies and gentlemen, parents, everybody, please welcome Ms. Sherry Wise.
Hello, I'm Sherry, and I'm currently the dual credit monitor with HDSB. I've also been a co-op teacher and a guidance counselor over my career, both internationally and here in Halton. I believe in helping students find passions and meaningful pathways. Dual credit is a wonderful opportunity to do this and discover what inspires you or just as important, as Donna noticed, what doesn't inspire us as well, I think is equally as important, to try new things and discover who we are. I have a sister who is neurodivergent and queer and works in the trades, but she started her pathway, her professional pathway, in university. And when she wasn't able to find a job in her field, she found success and support in the trades. Skilled trade work is for everyone, and dual credit is an amazing opportunity to test drive this. Go back to the other slide. So dual credit, students can explore a skilled trade at a local college while still in high school through dual credit. So they take a college class at the same time as their high school classes. They earn both a college credit and a high school credit simultaneously from this. It's available to senior students in grade 11 and grade 12. Tuition, PPE, transportation is fully funded. This program is free. Students go to college for 1 or 2 days during the week for 14 weeks. I'll get us to go to the next slide. You can see a short video that will give you more insight into this program.
The dual credit program benefits students because it gives them the opportunity to leave the high school building, to try something new, to test drive a possible new career or a trade. And a lot of the trades that they were exposed to here, we don't offer in the high school.
I enjoy the most about coming to the college for the program is the exposure to more of the trades and also having more opportunities to go through different pathways of becoming an electrician or welder.
The dual credit electrical welding programs benefited me by teaching me how to weld. So in the future, if I have anything break at my house or on my car, I can now fix it myself now that I know how to weld and save myself some money.
I chose an electrical welding dual credit because it's more hands-on, and I was always a hands-on learner.
I would tell other students they should take the electrical welding program because it's really an amazing opportunity, especially if you like hands-on work and you don't really know what you want to go into. To try it out is really awesome. I tried it out and it's been really good for me. We get to learn how electricity works, and now we're controlling electricity in welding, and I think that's really awesome.
Students coming through the dual credit program, I've seen several of them go back into the animal care program. Even in the one class that I teach, I'll talk about some of the other classes, so to kind of give them an idea of what's going on. And I think that really makes them feel like it's a program that they would be interested in, and therefore helps them on their journey to be able to turn their love for animals into a real career.
Coming into the colleges allows them to do and try different things. Allows students to have the opportunity to experience college and what that might be like, or what the next step is like in their potential future.
I've never been to a college before, so I've always heard very good things about Mohawk, so getting to walk around the campus has been very good.
It was a lot of fun just looking around the campus and really getting a feel for what college life would be like.
The best parts of the dual credit program are being able to learn in a post-secondary environment and learn things that I would learn in post-secondary and be able to take them so that I'm a step ahead when I go to post-secondary.
To me, it's not that intimidating because I've done this before. I've taken many other construction courses, manufacturing, and I'm usually the only female in it, so I've learned to adapt. But I understand how it can be intimidating to other people. But if you go in there and you just know your own worth, you know that you can do it. No one can put you down.
So I hope this video gave you some insight into what the dual credit program looks like. Maybe you're curious about what a dual credit student might look like. So dual credit students might be unsure of their pathway beyond secondary school. They might be students that are needing greater engagement in school, students that are behind in credits or struggling in class, students that might be underachieving and wanting to reach their full potential, students that are wanting to build confidence in their skills, and students that are in need of career clarification. If you have any questions about this program, please feel free to use our bit.ly link, and I'm happy to answer any of them. Thank you.
Thank you so much to all our presenters tonight, our keynote speaker, Ms. Shannon Tymosko, Ms. Sherry Wise of Dual Credit, Jesse Fram from Skills Ontario, Mr. Wade Richardson, the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Recruiter, and Ms. Donna Nori, the SHISM lead. So now we're going to go to the question and answer session. And I hope parents, guardians, and all the people here present tonight, you have already sent some questions to us. So we're going to begin answering the questions that you have shared with us. And remember, the link for this evening's question is here. It's showing on the screen. It is not too late for you to go in and put in your questions. So I'm going to start with the first question that we have tonight, and any of the presenters can jump in to answer the question. So the first one is, can you give me more information about the new grade 11 students to begin the apprenticeship pathways in the fall? I believe this is a question for you, Wade.
Sure. Really, we don't have any other information other than what the ministry announced. They have not released any details. But what we do know is if a student did leave high school in grade 11, so if they have, let's either completed grade 10 or completed grade 11, really there are some mandatory credits they do have to get, which they probably could do through night school. But we are really waiting for the ministry announcement for how that process would work.
Thank you. The next question, I believe, is for our instructional and program leader, Ms. Angela Sove. And the question is, how are kids supported to succeed with learning disabilities? What are the best options for them in the skills trades or in any other area at the Halton District School Board?
That's a great question. Again, my name is Angela Sove. I work in special education services. Any students that are taking credit-bearing programs, regardless of their need for an individual education plan or their learning exceptionalities, can be engaged in any of the programs spoke about this evening. We do have a self-contained placement for students who are not earning Ontario curriculum, but those students who are earning Ontario curriculum credits have access to any of the programs spoken about this evening.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Sove. The next question is for Ms. Sherry. Sherry, somebody said, can you give more insight about dual credit? What grade do students apply for that?
That's a great question. Dual credit is for grade 11 and grade 12 students. If you are interested in registering for that, visit your guidance department and they'll be able to help you along with that process. As for insight, I believe that I covered that in my presentation. If there's any further questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Okay, thank you very much, Sherry. The next question is for Donna. The question is, if my son is starting grade 12 and has decided he is interested in the SHISM program, can he apply some of his previous courses and adjust his grade in grade 12 to meet the expectations?
So yes, absolutely. So we, because there are a number of components and things that the students need to complete, we do suggest that the students try and register in grade 11, but we welcome students to enter whenever they're ready. So what we would need to do for your child is we could potentially, if interested, look at signing them up for the summer co-op to get that co-op component completed during the summer. If we can't do that, then we can build the co-op into either night school next year or into their grade 12 timetable, or we can go and extend through and have an extra semester or a year of education if need be. So the students are definitely welcome. What I would recommend is that you reach out to the SHSM lead for the particular program and your guidance counselor and myself to look at all the different ways that we can support. So I can help support with getting some of the certifications that don't need to be done in person. I could provide them for your child to get started over throughout the summer if you wanted. The guidance counselor would help with setting up the timetable, and then the SHSM lead would need to sort of accept the student into the program and make sure that they have already got enough, at least one of the required majors for the grade 11 year.
Okay. Thank you very much, Donna. The next question is for you, Shannon. What math is required to move into an apprenticeship program? So could you share your experience in the electrical trade? And if there are other people who can contribute to this, please feel free to to speak after Shannon has spoken.
For sure. That's a great question. I think math is certainly a valuable asset to have in any skilled trades. However, depending on where you're going, you have to research for your apprenticeship what the prerequisites are. So for example, I can go off of electrical. Some unions do require some prerequisites like physics or grade 12 math. Where my union, they didn't need the physics, but they wanted the math pieces. So every single apprenticeship is slightly different. What I think is a really valuable piece for anybody who's pursuing something in the skilled trades, and what I encourage young people is get comfortable and familiar with the measuring tape. Fractions, how to add and subtract, quarters and eighths, and getting your eyes used to that muscle memory and using a measuring tape. However, you have to research into each individual apprenticeship to figure out what prerequisites would be required for you.
Thank you. Wade, do you have anything to add?
Yes. Yeah, so there, some of the apprenticeable skilled trades require an OSSD and some do not. So there is no math prerequisites as a minimum standard for the skilled trades. For example, all construction required a minimum of grade 10. So that would be electrician, plumber, but some organizations, such as the unions, require a grade 12 math or physics. So the minimum, in short, the minimum is an OSSD for some of the skilled trades, and some it's a minimum of grade 10. They don't necessarily look at specific courses, but there are lots of organizations that ask for higher standards than the minimum standards.
Okay. Thank you. The next question is for you, Donna. Can you provide an example of what the business SHSM looks like? Can they still be enrolled in French immersion while being enrolled in SHSM?
So great question. That is very school dependent. And so what you would need to do is talk to your guidance counselor. So if the student can take their French immersion requirements at the same time as getting the SHSM requirements, they're more than welcome to do both. So at the school, when I was running our programs, I had a student who did French immersion and our justice community safety. And then I've had IB students do IB and the justice community safety. They just were willing to do a little bit of extra over the summer to actually be able to do both. So the business SHSM is, there's definitely customer service in there. There's leadership in there. There is things like DECA and sort of those business type competitions. So what I would recommend to truly get a sense of the types of certifications that the students could do, look at our Halton Pathways website as well as the ministry website, because often what the SHSM leads will do is they will talk to their students, and if a student says, I'm really interested in this, then they'll switch their certifications and offer a certification based on student interest. But so for over the grade 11 and 12 year, the student would be in all of their normal courses. And then for most, we field trip the students out for the reach ahead experiences, the experiential learning, the ICE training, right? We bring in a community partner, and just like being part of a sports team, we pull the students out for these enrichment activities to help them earn that SHISM.
Thank you, Donna. The next question is actually for me. And the question is, how can an elementary student get exposure to the skilled trades? We normally have a major event for elementary students, grade 6, 7, and 8, and it's called the Explore the Skilled Trades grade 7 virtual event, where twice a week, and we bring in skilled trades, tradesmen and women, and we organize breakout rooms. And in various breakout rooms, students have the option to visit 3 breakout rooms, and we also bring a keynote speaker. The keynote speaker for this year's event was Shannon Tymosko, and she has shared some of her experience with us. She was also a presenter in the breakout room as well. And through this, we also have the skills of halting skills competition, and all our elementary students have the opportunity to participate in halting skills in robotics, communication, video editing, and all the other trades. So we actually expose our elementary students to the skilled trades very early. So the next question is for you, Wade, and this is the last question. Does the school help students find a skilled journey person as an employer for their trade?
Hi. Yeah, absolutely. So when it's typically that would happen through a co-op placement. So if it's really a matter of the students matching up with an employee. So a student registers for a co-op, and for example, they'd like to be a plumber. So they will go in a co-op with a plumber. And if that student works out well with that employer, quite often somewhere along the lines during the co-op, they could have a conversation to start an apprenticeship in high school. And quite often we will register students as apprentices in high school. And those co-op positions, when the student graduates, quite often transitions into employment. So it does happen quite often, and that's usually the co-op teacher who will assist the students in finding those placements that is a right fit for them.
Thank you so much to our presenters this evening. We thank you, parents, guardians, and community members, for attending this presentation this evening. This is a yearly event, and we look forward to seeing you next year with various panelists. I thank our presenters, our keynotes especially. I thank Shannon Tymosko for sharing her experience and her journey. Jesse Fram from Skills Ontario, thank you so much for exposing us to all the things that Skills Ontario does and how our students can benefit from them. Thanks so much to Wade Richardson, our Ontario Youth Apprenticeship recruiter. Thank you, Donna Nori, our SHISM lead. Thank you, Sherry Wise, our dual credit teacher. Angela Sove, thank you. We really appreciate your presence here this evening, because this is the first time that we'll actually have somebody from the special education department asking specific questions from students, because it's very important that our parents know that we hear them and we see them, and all that we do in the Halton District School Board is program for our students and build capacity in them so that they can become successful in their journey. I also thank Summers Sweetman. So the technology behind all you seeing us and seeing everything that we're doing here this evening. Thank you so much, Summers, for helping us to live stream this on YouTube. So parents, everybody, Good evening. Thank you. And we'll see you. If you have any question, you already have the link. Please do not hesitate to reach out to us to ask any other question. And we'll continue to monitor the Google form. If you have questions, we'll respond to your questions. So thank you so much for supporting this program and also for supporting your children and your ward in their journey in life. Thank you so much. Bye. Have a wonderful evening, everybody.